Welcome to the Financial Freedom Mastermind Group podcast. Here we're all about breaking free from the 40 to 50-year work grind and accelerating our journey towards financial freedom. Join us every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern as we explore different types of investments that can fast-track your path to financial independence. We serve as a hub for connecting with fellow members during our sessions so you can share successes, ask questions, and keep the momentum going.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Niyi Adewale, host of the Ekabo Home Financial Freedom Mastermind Group, and I'm pumped to be joining you this evening halfway through July, and we are literally like speeding through this year. It's crazy how fast the time flies. But one thing that I was thinking about earlier today that I kind of wanted to kick this session off with is the mature real estate investors understand that this is a long-term game, and that you are going to, especially in this environment with higher interest rates, less inventory, and prices still remaining high, you have to make deals. You're not necessarily going to find them just sitting there on the MLS. And so I, for one, am a person that likes to practice what I preach. And I think I talked about it on here a couple times, but recently purchased a fourplex property that on paper, the numbers don't make sense, right? Year one, it's like, hey, how does this even make sense? When you look at the year 2, year 3 vision for the property and how you're going to update the units, increase the rents, things of that nature, it makes a ton of sense. And when we get to that point, people will look back and say, wow, I wish I had gotten something like that. But again, in this environment where we are, you've got to make deals. You're not necessarily just going to find them sitting there for you. And so in this session, I really just want to be able to provide as much info and as much help as possible to those that are trying to figure it out. I've had a lot of conversations this week with clients and individuals that are looking to change careers and things of that nature. And so, no, definitely open and would love to connect with you. But this is going to be an open session, so feel free to call in via the chat and or to send a message in via the chat. And we will kick this thing off with whatever is on your mind. Amity, welcome back. If you want to join the live call-in, it would be awesome. And or if you want to drop any questions in the chat, feel free. There they go. What is up? Hey, it's good to see you again.
What's up?
Not much. Eric, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. I'm excited.
The man, the myth, the legend with the real estate bug. All right, you suffer from the same affliction that I suffer from. Nah, what you got going on, man?
So I guess I went to see a few of those houses that I talked to you about, or that you showed me, and the one I showed you. So I think there was some mix up with like the listing. So I actually went to like a third house that I don't think either of us were planning to look at before, which was kind of an interesting thing. So we went to the house. Apparently they didn't even know that there was like a showing scheduled at the time. I don't think their agent communicated it, but they're like, our agent's asking for too much money. So we weren't even planning to sell the house. We need to figure out what to do with like the contract for that. So I went in and like saw the house, and then basically I think that house needs like a lot of work. It's not like in very good condition for it.
You talking about the one out in Lakewood?
Yeah, the one at the Lakewood house, like another Lakewood house.
Mm-hmm. What we talked about yesterday, did that prove true? I know it's some neighborhoods are street by street, but what'd you think?
Yeah, that Lakewood house, the one that we talked about, I think I understand why it's been on the market so long. They took very good pictures, but it was not what didn't look like the pictures.
Hey, marketing is half of it, man. Marketing is half of it, but it will sit for a while if it doesn't match up when you get out there. But yeah, it's one of those things where there's really two ways you can go about it. I know that you're looking more for one that you could do some light rehabs and kind of build some value in, which I love. That's what I'm doing up in Snellville right now. I bought a house that doesn't make sense on paper year one, but once we do the updates, it's going to make a lot of sense. And so we could definitely find something like that where it's more cosmetic updates and things of that nature that'll cash flow for you. I just don't know that was the one. But what do you think about the other one?
About the other one, I think the East Point one, it looked nice, but I guess maybe let's talk after.
Yeah, that could be offline. Yeah. No worries in that piece. But man, so you've got your B&B up and running for a couple months now. How is it coming for you with the house hack? I know it's a bit weird going into it your first time, but now that you're actually actively doing it, has it changed your quality of life, Is there anything that you're like, hey, I hate this part, or things of that nature, or is it kind of copacetic?
Yeah, so I guess it's been pretty good in terms of, I guess, being able to like kind of live for free for like the last few months. So that's been good. I have been doing. I was doing the cleanings for like the first like couple months, but the like I think this week or the like week before, I started getting cleaners to come in. So that's been definitely like a load off. So that's probably something I should have done sooner.
Dude, absolutely. I think you came around a lot quicker than our biggest holdout. Desmond was our largest holdout. He was doing like 3 units where he's cleaning everything. I'm like, dude, this doesn't make any sense. And so he came around. So if he can come around, I think we all can. And it helps you start to realize, like, hey, I can scale this thing. And
Mhm.
I'm so extreme that I don't even look just at that piece. I look at stuff in my personal life, like, hey, what can I offset? Like, for example, right? I think we talked about it before, like cutting my lawn, right? This is one of the first things I offset back when I bought my first house. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have to go buy yard equipment, get gas in this thing, maintain it, and then come out every week or so to go cut this. And for those 2 hours, I can't do anything else. I think I'm going to pay somebody $30 or $40 to just do this, right? That was one of the first things I outsourced. Now, fast forward to today, we manage a bunch of short-term rentals, as you know, around the city. And one of the things that was taking up a crazy amount of time was invoicing owners. Because on a day-to-day, especially if you're helping set up a B&B, you could spend, crazy amounts at 15 different places. Now I've got to put all these receipts in the QuickBooks and type it and send it out. And if it's one invoice, that's one thing. But if you're sending out 20 invoices or 30 invoices for all these different spots, it gets to be a lot. And so I actually shifted that over to a VA to where all I do is send a picture of a receipt with the address and an email, and they handle the whole process. So I've gotten to the point where I'm looking constantly, and I actually set aside time every Monday, and I call it elevate and delegate time, where I can look at, okay, what's one of the things that I'm doing right now that I don't need to be doing, right? And I try to put like a Loom video or something together to outsource it and kind
Dude,
of push that off to somewhere else.
sorry to interrupt, but when's your book
Please.
dropping? When's your
Hey,
book dropping? I
well,
feel
when are
like
you writing
this is
it?
some
When
good
is you writing
material.
it?
I
That's
love
the
listening to you
question.
speak. I'm like, where's this TED Talk? Where's this book? Because I you're writing an autobiography, right?
Hey, no, hey, I wish. When ChatGPT and AI gets good enough to do that whole piece, absolutely, count me in.
No. I you should just be like 1 hour a week. You get someone to start writing the autobiography because I feel like that's a good book. That's gonna be a good
Hey,
book.
that would be cool. If you promise to buy it, it may happen at some
I
point.
will
All right,
promise
if
to
you
buy
promise to
it.
buy it.
I promise to buy
All
it.
right.
Well, don't. It has to be less than like $50, but I promise to buy it.
Hey, come on now. I'm down with that. I'm down. I'm thinking 13.99. Maybe add 3% per year that
No,
we
you
wait
got you
for
got to know your
inflation.
worth, man. At least 25. It's like a 17.99 book minimum.
No, that's fair. That is fair. No, but I love this stuff, and to that point, I'm with you, Eric. I think that's the first step. That's one piece. I'm sure it freed up a lot of your time and mental energy.
Yeah.
But Amity, I know you were in the chat, and I believe you had some questions around short term. Did you want to jump in? Did you want to ask any questions? Please feel free. And if you're doing the live call in, you have to do it from a computer, not your phone. So that may be a piece. So I joined from the computer. But one thing that we got coming up, I don't know if anybody noticed, but I canceled the one for the first week of August because I'm actually going to be out of town, man. Big news, finally getting married, man. So first week of August, going to be out of the country with the family, kind of doing the destination wedding thing. So I'm excited about that, and I'm going to come back a different person. All right, completely different person. So excited for that piece. While we are waiting for her to join, we talked about the property up in Snellville for a bit. It's kind of the one that's top of mind, but man, we are doing some work out there. So this is one that on paper, right, the mortgage starting out is 7,100 per month. And if you look at the rents as they were previously, it was about 6 grand per month, right? With all 4 units rented. Now one of them is gone and we're updating that unit. So it's 4,500 per month coming in with the $7,100 mortgage. And the only reason I feel comfortable with that is because the median rent for that area and for those units is 2,100. The piece that the previous owners stopped doing is raising rents because they bought it back in 2010. They didn't need to raise rents. They bought it for 120, and so they were making money hand over fist with the 6 grand coming in. So they're like, hey, we're just going to keep the same tenants, and they did. But these are the type of deals that you got to look for in this market, is deals where it's like, hey, it may not make sense on paper right now. Like a lot of people probably weren't bidding for that. But if you have the vision for, hey, if I update this unit and get another tenant in there, it's going to rent for, 2,100 or more.
Mhm.
Question for you, Eric. I'm going to kick it to you first, and I'll come to. But this is from Amity. Is anyone else experiencing a slowdown during the summer? It seems that we'll have to lower prices in order to stay in the game. Is that so, or is it just slower than the previous year? And I know this is your first year in the game, but I believe it's hers as well. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I guess to your point, I haven't gone through like a full year, so I can't say. But I guess my understanding too is that in general, Airbnb is just pretty seasonal business. So I think in Atlanta, it's normally like March to September is the more bigger season, and then the other seasons a little bit not as many bookings or not as frequent. So I think that's somewhat just to be expected for that.
Okay, yeah, I had to do a lot of adjustments with, playing and testing the pricing for the summertime more so than I did, I think, in the winter. So I was like, okay, this is different. I'm thinking it's supposed to be, the other way around, but yeah, I'm Eric. Nice to meet you, by the way. Meet you. My hair isn't done, so you won't see my face.
That's fair.
But yeah, I think you are right about that. And Georgia it's been, I think it might be that it's slower this year. I don't know if you've experienced that also, Nihi, than the previous year.
Yeah. So when you look at, I think, and this is all like, I listen to a lot of podcasts, things of that nature, and read a lot of articles. But when you look at travel in 2021 and 2022 was historical highs, right? Because people were pent up all 2020, and a lot of people shifted back some of the travel they had. I'm sure we all have stories and know people who were supposed to go somewhere, on a crazy trip or go get married or something of that nature, and they all had to shift it back a year or two because of COVID. And so that was a lot of pent up demand. I think vacation travel is kind of returning back to the norm now. But that being said, Atlanta is still one of those spots that has a peaked vacation market compared to other markets. Like if you look like at, Phoenix, Arizona, things of that nature for short-term rentals, that place is getting cratered right now. Atlanta is still pretty steady and doing well. I would just look deeper into your prices, right? And I know that's kind of the simple answer, but for example, what is the min that you have sent for your prices right now?
Okay, so as soon as I put it on down to, it was like, what was it, like two, I think before 200, and then I lowered it. I just kind of played with it a little bit and put it on 177, and that seems to be the sweet spot per night on the minimum, 177 a night. And now I'm getting like bookings, like I'm like back to back. I'm this month, so I was like, okay, so I just have to keep playing with it, and Rank Breeze kind of helped me determine that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's the piece to remember, right? Like that min doesn't say, "Hey, everybody's going to book for this price." If you
right.
look at this weekend or next weekend, it's probably highly elevated. Like, for
Mm-hmm.
example, even at the mansion that we just launched, right? That one, we want the average to be at that 1,800 range, but we've set the min to 1,200. And so we've gotten bookings during the week where people are like, "Hey, I want to do a corporate event. They're paying 1,200 plus cleaning fees and all this other stuff, but it's
Hey,
worth it for them." But on the weekend, the bookings are like 25, 26, 2,700 a night. And
right.
the weekends are going to get booked. So I think it's playing around with that, finding like where you can set it and forget it. The difference, and I think Eric hit on it perfect. The busy seasons between March and September in Metro Atlanta. And if you set that min correctly during that busy season, which it sounds like you've identified it at like 177, 175, whatever that min is, you shouldn't have to play around with it too much throughout the summer. It's when you get to winter, that's where you really may have to, okay, let me lower this to like
Mhm.
150 in the min and things of that nature. But once you find that sweet spot, which it sounds like you found, I would just leave it, let it do its thing. And then as we start to exit and get toward that September timeframe and really like October timeframe, that's when
Yeah.
you want to start to adjust.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Oh, and the other question I asked you about today, I have one guest who she said she sat on the bar stool seat and it just collapsed. And I'm like, how did that happen? She was like, "No, I just sat down and then it just, the pieces just started coming off. The legs came off or whatever." And I was like, wow. And before that, I know that it seemed like all of my, furniture was pretty sturdy. So I don't know. It's kind of suspect. It's like, okay, how did this happen?
Eric, have you had anything like that happen where something just magically broke?
I've had my couch broken actually, but
What?
it was definitely not magic, you know.
The couch?
Yeah, the couch is a hard one. That's like, come on now. A stool, maybe. But what did you do? How'd you handle that situation with the guests?
Uh,
Balancing the review versus responsibility.
oh, for this one in particular, it just happened. So but my thought is I just submitted a claim for these people. I also live below them, so I could hear them, you know, at the time. So I definitely don't think these people were like, these would be more rambunctious people. There's a lot of noise and stuff like that for what they're doing. So I don't think this was just an issue of like they sat on the couch and they broke it. My
Right.
guess is that, you know, they're a little harder on the couch. So
So
I
I
have
was
no, you know.
thinking that I have like 8 reviews now. I'm a super host, so it's just 8 reviews because I've only done this for maybe 6 months. And the chair is probably worth about 75, $80. But to me, that's a lot. It's like everything counts. So, but I mean, I have 3 other bolsters, but I was going to consider putting in the claim for that because anytime somebody breaks something, I mean, it's like it was sturdy before she got there. So,
Let me ask you two questions on that piece. One, I think what Eric alluded to is spot on. Like, one of the things I look for before charging somebody is were there signs that they were doing other stuff, right? Like,
mm-hmm,
for example, and I think I told this story before. The first time I did VRBO with my second B&B, it was like the first time I was on there. I was so excited. This is the summer of 21, and that guest came in and threw a crazy party. I left like a champagne bottle. Speaking of which, never do that. Always leave a bottle of wine, something without bubbles. I left like a champagne bottle with a note. I was doing all that stuff, and they had shaken it up and exploded it all over the place, all over the walls. I'm like, guys, like, what are you doing? And broke one of my chairs, like a $700 brand new chair, right? And so,
yeah,
yes, we put in the claim, we got all that money, and they were very apologetic, all that stuff. And that was an instance where I could see on the exterior cameras, like, hey, this
right,
seems like a lot of people coming over, and
mm-hmm,
they're very loud, things of that nature. So I was already nervous about it, right?
okay.
Was there any signs of that? Did you get nervous when you look at the exterior
Um,
cameras? Did it seem like, hey, these guys are doing too much?
no, it's just a family that's there, but I there's no way I would know, what the situation was indoors, of course. But no, there's nothing like a party or anything crazy or out of the ordinary. But she, I've never heard just you sit down on a chair that looked like it was completely sturdy and it just collapses. That's just I don't know.
Was there anything else that the cleaners found after the checkout? Like, hey, this was broken also, or anything else, or was it just the stool?
It was just that. Well, she's still there. That's the thing.
Oh,
She's
she's still
still
there. Okay,
there.
okay.
Yeah. So
Well, you got to wait till they check out, right? You got to wait till they check out to kind of review and see if there's other stuff. But if
right.
it's literally just the stool, right?
Uh-huh.
I would
Okay.
ask you one more question. And this is the one that I think would help you kind of decide.
Okay.
Would you pay somebody 75 or $80 for a marketing 5-star review? Like if I was like, hey, guys, we're going to get you another 5-star review. You just got to pay $75 for a marketing fee to get a 5-star review that's going to boost you up on the rankings. Would you pay that money?
Would I pay $75 for one review?
One 5-star review.
Nope.
Okay. Eric, what about you?
No, probably not for the review.
No.
Um,
I pay $10, but not $75.
Fair enough. So I think it's one that you got to think through, right? For me personally, it's one of those where it's always a delicate balance, right? If you come in there and you see like, hey, this place was trashed, like, okay, this
Yeah.
person was not taking care of it. We're going to hit them over the head for the book of all the different items. But if
Hmm.
you come in there, it's relatively clean. It's like, okay, I'll chalk the stool up. I've chalked up a couple things, right?
Okay.
Just saying, you know what, let me chalk this up. It's
Yeah.
not worth kind of disturbing, things of that nature.
So,
It's only if I know that they did something.
so what about in the meantime? I guess the communication as of now was just she sent me a picture and I looked over it and she just showed me the broken chair. She said she put it in the laundry room, but that's it so far. So I asked her to send me a picture because I wanted to see it, but that was it so far. So I guess I should just no more communication on that until they leave.
Yeah, when is checkout?
Checkout is I think she was staying for 5 days, so she might have like 4 more days, I think.
Oh, this was day one?
Yeah, well, yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, I would leave that alone until after checkout so you can see if there's other evidence that they were doing something. Because it may have been the chair just got weak. I mean, I've had
Yeah.
a couple, like, we have to send maintenance people out every so often to
Hmm.
retighten chairs. I don't know if you had those chairs growing up where you have like the little bolts in it, and
Yeah.
every so often they start getting wobbly, right? Like
Yeah.
that's normal. So we got to send
Hmm.
people out every so often. And if you were to sit in one of those wobbly chairs, like while it's kind of out of sync, you could fall
Yeah.
right through that thing. So stop getting
Oh,
those IKEA chairs. What I'm saying,
yeah.
MT, get the real chairs.
I was doing good.
I think his name is no, it's the host Rob Built, right? He has
Mhm.
this saying where he says, "Buy nice, not thrice," and I agree with him, right? Like I've seen
Do you think it was that cheap? I got it from
no, it's hey,
no, I didn't
it's
do
fine.
IKEA. I didn't do IKEA. I did, was it Wayfair or Overstock? Overstock, right? So it was like a set of 4 chairs for $300.
Not bad.
Right. They were pretty
That's not
solid.
bad.
But
I'm
yeah.
not questioning it. I would just wait. I wouldn't jump to
Yeah.
anything right now. I'll just say, hey, thank you so much for the alert, and wait until they check out.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. Thank you for that.
Sure.
Oh, and the maintenance thing though, I didn't think of that. Like I should have somebody come out every now and then and check on the stuff like that. It was me. I was doing it, but I think it would be good.
Yeah, and I think a guest usually will alert you on that piece. Like if they
Hmm.
say, "Hey, it's a little bit wobbly" or something of that nature, we just
Yeah.
send somebody out because we got guys that are constantly roaming around, kind of knocking things out for us. But yeah, it's good. It's good to be able to, especially if you. I'm sure you have a couple maintenance folks that you've called before to be able to
Hmm.
have them come out, every so often. And what we try to do now is we try to visit the properties once a quarter just to do a walkthrough on what we can update there and
Yeah.
kind of spruce up. I'm actually planning to put some more money into my first full home B&B because back then didn't really know, about other aesthetics that you can add to it. And now having seen so many that we put together, I'm like, you know what, man, we could add like some wallpaper over here. We can do some touches over here and make it even better. So plan to do that and take some new pictures in the off season. So that'll be like a winter thing.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Of course.
Question for Eric. Did the you getting that house, is this your first Airbnb property?
Yes, my first property.
Okay, awesome. I wanted my first one to be a house hack or either a multi-unit, but Georgia is lacking like in a lot of those, and to get a house hack was just like hard to find. So I guess what did you look for to decide? Oh, this would be a good place for you know to be able to do that.
To be honest, I think I used Nee as my realtor. So Nee just found a place. He told me this is a good place for this.
Oh, okay.
So, but I think what I would look for if I was looking at listings and stuff like that is sometimes people will even call out, like if you do a search for like house hack, like sometimes people kind of, the listing agent will identify properties that they think might be potentially good for them. So a lot of times they don't necessarily have to be a duplex, but if you see these like split units, either by like some of them are like side to side or like top to bottom, those are split. I think that gives you the option for maybe doing it. And then once you like actually go and look in the house, I think you might want to like look into see if there's a place that you can like add a kitchenette, or add a space for the whole kitchen there. Look at where like the water is currently and see if like there's a place where you can hook up, put that set up there additionally. So even if it's like not necessarily already set up to be like a house hack, it might be a place that you can make it into a house hack if it's like a basement or something, some unit like that.
Okay, and so is yours like a basement and where you can have like, is it a studio apartment or you have like 2 bedroom unit down there, or how is yours set up?
So I guess mine is technically zoned as like a single family home, but it's pretty much set up as like a duplex. So there's no interior like entryway like connection between the two.
Yeah.
You have to go completely outside. But the top unit is a 3-2, and the bottom that I'm living in is like a 2-1 outside. So
Okay, that's
each
pretty
level is
cool.
just kind of like its own unit in that way.
Okay,
And
and
that's the piece. Go ahead.
mhm.
Go ahead, MT.
No, I was just gonna say in terms of like expenses on doing that, what range or what was your expense like for, I guess, building out that second portion or that second unit down there?
So I guess this is a good thing of having a good realtor is that my realtor found something that I didn't have to do any of that renovation for it.
Gosh, you didn't. That is amazing. Wow. Okay.
And it's one of those things where I think Eric's spot on, right? Like Bigger Pockets has done an awesome job of talking about house hacks from a duplex, triplex, quadplex standpoint. And so those get snatched up quickly. Like that fourplex I got in Snellville, only reason I got it is because they listed it. I saw it the day they listed it. I didn't see it in person, but they only had 3 pictures up. It wasn't marketed right, but I went over asking to get it under contract and then negotiated it down, right? Once we got in, started doing stuff. And that's kind of how it is for the small multis. A lot of people are going after that, but it takes a little bit more effort to find a single family with an in-law suite or a single family that is set up to kind of be that way. And a couple of examples I can give you is my personal house, right? When I bought my personal house, it had a exterior. I knew what I wanted. I wanted a house hack, but I wanted to do a luxury house hack. So I was looking for a single family with an in-law suite. In my personal house, it had one, right, that was attached. You can get there internally, but it also had an exterior entrance. And that's the key. You want to have an exterior entrance and a way to block off the interior, and then a bathroom and a bedroom, right? So it had those. It just did not have the kitchenette. And to talk about that cost piece, it cost me around $12K to put in the kitchenette in 21. We just recently helped a client do similar to what Eric has, except there was not a kitchenette there. We went after a property that had been sitting on the market for a while. It was a nice property, up and coming neighborhood. And it was a client that we recently helped maybe like 2 months ago. They're doing the same thing that Eric's doing, house hack, and renting out the top as an Airbnb. And we were able to negotiate the seller putting in a kitchenette that cost roughly $15K into the basement before closing by upping the price. And they were able to move in there and rent out the top. So there's many ways to do it. The main piece that you're looking for, and we're getting good at finding these, is a home that has either a basement or an accessory dwelling unit or something over the garage that has a separate entrance and its own bathroom, because that's the hardest piece. You need a source of water. The kitchenette we can put in by attaching to the bathroom, but you need a bathroom. Otherwise, that's going to cost you way too much to try to put that piece in. A separate entrance and a way to block it off from the main house, whether it's a door, whether it's, it's completely separate, things of that nature. But those are the hidden gems, right? And a lot more people are starting to get out there and try to find those, but it's not as easy to list that as a duplex, triplex, quadplex. And if an agent doesn't call it out, you may be able to find some gems.
Okay. So yeah, like if you were getting ready to when you're getting ready to resell, you can resell it as a duplex or no?
No. So that's the piece. You have to. It's still going to be the same thing, but it's still going to be single family because that's what the zoning is for that area. Okay. But what you do have is the ability to sell that house hack piece. Like now, when I sell my house, it's not just selling the house itself. It's, hey, there's a whole kitchenette downstairs. Here goes the numbers over the last 2 years. Your mortgage may be, X amount, but you're actually only going to be paying X amount because this is what you're bringing in downstairs. Here goes the reviews. And so that's going to appeal to the next person because now it's all finished out. Gotcha. Whereas we had to kind of see that vision.
Okay. All right. That makes sense.
Yeah. And then
yeah, go ahead.
One thing I'll just add on in terms of like if you're looking on Zillow or like the MLS to find listings, one thing I have found is that sometimes if you see houses where there's like, it looks like there's a lot of bedrooms to the square footage. That's sometimes because I think technically they can't count the basement as square footage for a lot of those properties. So if there's like a 6 bedroom house and 1,000 square foot, that might be a case where it's like the basement is also set up and they have bedrooms down there, and it might be a possible place to look into for that as well.
Okay, cool. So Nii, where are you like in Atlanta area, since you know all about ATL? What areas do you see more houses
what
like
can we get pre-approved for? Because that's going to tell us what neighborhoods we can shop in, right? And 2, kind of what we're looking for at the end of the day from hey, if I'm paying $2,000 a month in rent, can I get that down to $1,500 or $1,000 a month? And that's a win, and kind of go from there. So I can tell you just the different locations that we found. We've gotten the one I just mentioned where we got the kitchenette put in. That was on the west end. My house is on the east side. We've gotten 2 of these type of houses in Decatur. I own one in Marietta where it's like a separate in-law suite. That was a dogfight to get. Literally, it was like 20 offers. This was last June when interest rates were going up, but people were still like feverishly going after this. That was a really interesting story. Like there was a lot of stuff that I had to fix before that. But that's one. So Marietta, we've got a couple like in East Point. And then I think we got one in Hateville as well. So kind of all different areas. It just depends, one, on that pre-approval amount, whether we can go after one of those properties, and then we kind of just get to work from there. Oh yeah. I think for me, Once you start house hacking, it's
Okay.
hard to get away from that. It's like, you know what, man? Like, I kind of
Yeah, I
like
think that
putting
would
that
be
money
my next
away
move
and just
for
saving
sure.
it. And it doesn't really affect my full quality of life, right? There may come a time where I don't want to do that anymore. But until that time comes, I'm going to keep acquiring as many as I can. And the cool thing about doing the single family with an in-law suite house hack is you don't have to wait for another FHA loan, right? You can only use one FHA or have one active at a time. And that allows you to get up to 4 units, right? Which is amazing. But then after that, if you want to go get like a triplex, they're going to tell you to put down 10 or 15% for conventional, right? Which is a lot, unless you got rid of your FHA and did that again. And so what I like about the single family within.
So if you're not financing based, because you have for FHA, you have to have a W-2 though, right? Yeah. So, but there are other alternative ways, like with your LLC though, right? Like with business credit or I don't know exactly how all that works, but you can do that through your LLC. I'm just thinking it's going to cost you a whole lot more to do it that way. Good stuff.